Chosen one, if you hear this message at this precise moment, it is not by chance. God has guided you to this exact moment because a divine revelation is unfolding for you. A change is taking place in your life, and you have felt it deep within. The old patterns are breaking down. Where you are physically, emotionally, and spiritually has begun to feel too small. It no longer fits the person you are becoming. God is preparing to move you out of where you are. He will guide you to the place where His promises for your life will finally begin to be fulfilled. Not someday, not eventually. Now, soon you will move. With every change comes resistance, because the enemy knows how close you are and what this message unlocks. That's why distractions appear. That's why doubts creep in. Something may be trying to pull you away from the end of this message, but don't let it. If you stay until the end, something powerful will be revealed. A vision, a confirmation, a glimpse of the exact place God is leading you. And when you see it, you'll know in your heart that it's real, that it's yours, and that it's already happening. If this message is for you, write 777 in the comments. This message is for me. I receive it. Chosen one. You have lived through seasons that exhausted you, places that weighed too heavily on your mind, rooms where you had to shrink just to enter. You have prayed prayers that no one else heard. You have shed tears that never went beyond your pillow. And you have stood tall when everything around you told you to give up. The world may not have noticed, but heaven saw. Nothing you endured went unnoticed. Every battle you fought in silence, every disappointment buried deep inside, every moment you whispered, "God, are you still with me?" Everything has been heard. Everything has been felt. Everything has been written in the book that heaven keeps for those who continue to walk, even when the path seems endless. You may not have seen the responses yet, but that doesn't mean nothing was happening. The silence wasn't an absence, it was an alignment. The heavens were preparing for a change. Something deep inside you has already begun to perceive it. Relationships are changing. Peace is becoming harder to find in places where you once felt comfortable. A silent unease that says, "That can't be all there is." This isn't impatience, it's a revelation. Your soul recognizes that the environment you're in no longer corresponds to who you're becoming. The version of you that endured the storm is not the same one that is about to enter into the promise. You have not been forgotten. You were hidden for a purpose, protected even in your pain. And now the time of hiding is coming to an end. The preparation is complete. What heaven has spoken of in silence over your life is about to be seen in full light. The desert didn't break you, it trained you. The waiting didn't weaken you, it refined you. The delay wasn't a rejection, it was divine timing. Now everything that tried to hold you back must let you go. There are moments in life when something shifts, not outside of us, but deep within. At first it's hard to name. Things that once brought comfort no longer feel good. Spaces that felt familiar begin to feel oppressive. And without warning, what felt like home starts to resemble a waiting room. This is how divine changes begin. Not with explosions, but with a quiet unease. It's not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something has begun. A spiritual transition has been activated. The ground beneath your mind is shifting, not to destabilize you, but to align you. You are not being pushed out of where you were. You are being called forward. The universe is rearranging the pieces of your life, not because you failed where you are, but because you accomplished the mission that belonged to this chapter. There is nothing left to build here. What needed to be learned has been learned. What needed to be broken has been broken. And now is the time. You are not leaving out of emotion or impulse. You are guided by the hand of purpose. This is not a random detour. It is a divine departure. When God moves a life, He doesn't always explain it to those around you. Not everyone will understand the change you're going through. Some may question it, others may resist it. But you weren't called to convince them. You were called to respond. What's happening now isn't about approval. It's about obedience. There comes a point where staying becomes more dangerous than leaving, not because space itself is dangerous, but because it can no longer carry what is inside you. When God expands your mind, He also changes your environment to match. And if you ignore this concern, if you choose to stay out of habit, guilt, or fear, you risk stifling what heaven itself has placed within you. You were not meant to conform in a place where your voice is silenced, where your purpose is diminished, or where your presence is merely tolerated. That was never the plan. Leaving doesn't mean dishonor. Leaving doesn't mean rebellion. Leaving means alignment. There are promises about your life that cannot blossom in this soil. Some doors will never open as long as you stray from what is familiar. You don't have to hate where you've been. You just have to recognize that it's not where you're meant to stay. This is not just a resettlement. It is a liberation. What God is preparing for you is not just a better situation. It is a prophetic promise fulfilled in physical form. a complete transformation of your atmosphere, your surroundings, and the environment of your soul. This is not the kind of change that happens by chance. It is one that heaven has been planning for generations, waiting until your mind is ready to carry what your heart has desired. This isn't just about a house. It's about a sacred space where your spirit can breathe freely again, where your calling won't be stifled, where your gifts won't be ignored. It's a home, yes, but more than that, it's holy territory, marked and sealed for someone heaven has called by name. A space where trauma doesn't linger within the walls. A space where rest is not only physical but also emotional, mental, and profoundly spiritual. In this new environment, things won't work the way they used to. You won't have to constantly explain your sensitivity. You won't have to lower your spiritual voice to make others feel comfortable. You won't be tolerated. You'll be cherished. You won't just survive. You'll thrive. This atmosphere has been prepared to match the version of yourself you are becoming through the fire. The environment you are being guided toward will not resist your growth. It will accelerate it. It will not drain your energy. It will replenish it. There will be a divine flow where there was frustration. There will be clarity where there was chaos. There will be peace where there was panic. God isn't simply relocating you for your comfort. He's restoring you for a purpose, and He has prepared everything for your arrival. Listen to what the book of Deuteronomy says, chapter 6, verses 10 and 11. When the Lord your God brings you into the land He swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you, with its large and beautiful cities that you did not build, and its houses filled with all kinds of good things that you did not fill. This isn't a metaphor for someone else. It's a mirror for you. These words aren't just history, they're prophecy, alive and breathing into your life. You have lived through seasons of building, giving, waiting, and praying. You have been in places where you felt you were always giving without ever receiving. But now, the heavens shift the burden. What you once struggled for is already waiting for you, fully formed and completely yours. The promise doesn't depend on your perfection. It depends on God's faithfulness. He doesn't ask you to earn it. He simply asks you to trust Him enough to walk toward it. If you've experienced opposition lately, emotional, mental, or spiritual, you can't imagine it. The closer you get to entering into what God has promised, the more resistance will try to arise around you. The doubts you thought you'd buried are starting to whisper again. The people you love are becoming distant. Plans are starting to stall for no apparent reason. It's not bad luck. It's not a coincidence. It's a spiritual war. But here's the truth. This battle has already been decided. The moment God declared the promise over your life, the outcome was sealed. No opposition you face now can undo what was written before you were born. You don't fight for victory, you move forward from it. Resistance is often strongest just before a breakthrough. The enemy may roar, but they have no authority. The weight you carry is not a sign of failure, it's a sign that you're closer than you've ever been. And when you take that next step, when you say yes to the unknown, when you move even with trembling hands, you will not be alone. The sky will move with you. Doors will open that you have never touched. Peace will find you in places you have never known. Before you can live in the new, you must be ready to let go of the old, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. A new environment means little if your soul is still bound to the pain, patterns, and perspectives of where you've been. That's why the first door God opens is never the one in front of you, it's the one within you. You cannot carry the wounds of the desert into a promised land and expect to prosper. You cannot inhabit a space of peace if your thoughts are still at war. That is why this change begins with surrender, not a surrender to loss, but a surrender to healing. Let go of what no longer serves the person you are becoming. Stop repeating who hurt you, who broke you, what went wrong. Let go of the need for every answer, every excuse, every resolution. Because what is coming does not need your explanations, it needs your will. Begin preparing yourself as if the promise were already yours. Begin aligning your thoughts, your words, your posture, not with what you see now, but with what you know heaven has whispered. Sometimes the deepest miracle isn't the house, the land, or the door. It's what happens in your heart when you finally believe, I am worthy of this promise, I am ready to carry it well. I am no longer who I used to be, and when the inside changes, the outside follows. There comes a point in every divine transition where belief is no longer enough. You must begin to move as if the promise were real. Faith is not just a feeling, it's a stance, a positioning of the heart that says, I may not see it yet, but I have enough confidence to act. And now is that moment. Start living as if the door is already open. Clean the space as if you're already packing. Organize what you've neglected. Pick up the dreams you put aside because you thought the timing wasn't right. Make the phone call. Start the plan. Pray for the new home, even if you haven't seen it yet. This isn't about making a claim, it's about collaborating. It's a way of saying to heaven, I see the signs, I trust in the change, I align myself with what you have already begun. Abraham walked without knowing where, Noah built before the rain, Ruth followed before she saw redemption, and now it's your turn to take a step. Your obedience will position you to receive the promise, and that positioning is what heaven is looking for now. Not perfection, not certainty, just disposition, just movement, just faith showing itself in the small sacred ways. This is where the journey has taken you. Through waiting wounds, whispers in prayer, it all comes down to this threshold, the place between what was and what will be, the final pause before the next beginning. And if you are there listening to these words, then you are not just approaching, you are standing on them. This isn't just another word of encouragement, it's a spiritual announcement. You are about to enter the place you once only saw in fragments. This moment is sacred, not because it is noisy, but because you had to be so quiet to hear it. The new home, the new atmosphere, the new life are no longer far away. They are here, they are ready, and more than that, you are ready. You may feel nervous, uncertain, even unworthy, but the truth is that everything you've been through has prepared you for this. You are not who you were when it began. You are stronger, clearer, more grounded, and now finally, you set foot on the earth that has been waiting for your feet to touch it. You'll know when you get there. You'll breathe more easily, not because life will suddenly be perfect, but because the air will match your lungs, the space will match your soul, the frequency will match your spirit. And in this place you will not only survive, you will rise, you will rebuild, you will flourish, and the promises that once seemed so distant will begin to manifest like the morning light, quiet, constant, undeniable. You didn't miss it. You didn't lose your chance. You made it. The transition period is over. The door is open. The ground is holy, and your name is already written there. Move forward, chosen one. You are no longer on the path. You are home. If this message touched your heart, write 777 in the comments. Like this video, share it with someone who needs validation, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next message just for you.